Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is the weekly update. As always, very first link down below is Weekly Shonen Jump. Please check it out. I had a really good time this week. Number one, right off the bat, the new series Yokai Buster Shugomaru was pretty darn good. I was a little trepidatious at the start, and honestly, I don't. What is my reputation in terms of yokai series? Because I rag on them a lot, but also some of my favorite series are series that follow that exact kind of premise, including like newer series that have come out. There's plenty of like monster fighting series and whatnot where I've gone, okay, this is pretty banger. I do want to follow this. I do want to have this succeed, and then a lot of the times they don't in fact succeed. But you know how it is. It's pretty crammed. I go through a whole arc with this reaction, so I'm not going to spoil too much, except to say that I have to rewatch my reaction to chapter 25 of Shugomaru. I don't know why I dropped the series. I remember really liking Shugomaru. What the hell was going on? My only guess right now, having not looked at it again, is like I was filming at Donut's place. And like, I was streaming at Donut's place as well, which is already like, a wild situation. So maybe it was just a time thing. Maybe I just felt like, I'm not really feeling it, so we'll put this down for now, and then the series ended the week after. But I don't know. From what I remember, the penultimate chapter is pretty clearly a penultimate chapter. I don't know why I wouldn't have given it one more chapter, right? And I feel like I read the one more chapter. Though I may have just done that like off camera. But we'll see. Like Daiki Ihara's like comedic sensibility is something I really like, as well as his sensibility of like what is over the top, what is crazy, what will like thrill people in Weekly Shonen Jump, what are good references to make that won't just be immediately dated. How do you in fact write an 18+ chapter? just one. You can bring the character back. You just have to make sure they're not 18+ this time. Ah, so yeah, very excited because despite a lot of the stuff on the channel being more like edgy, being more dark, I do really like comedic stuff a ton. And Shugomaru, if nothing else, was very good at being a wacky gag manga that was also like very talkable, very like, oh god damn, what the fuck is happening? Very much like Roboco. Actually, while we're on the subject of this reaction, this is not a transition I expected, but as you can see, I was streaming at Donut's house. This was before, of course, Donut's internet situation got real bad to the point where like streaming was not possible. And that was also before my streaming situation got so bad that streaming was no longer possible. But I have remedied that with a Ethernet cable. Can you even see this? I mean, you have to trust me. That's an Ethernet cable. I can't show you the plug, but it's plugged into a power outlet. The outlet has Ethernet over the electrical connection. I don't remember what that's called. A power line connection is what that is called. It's been a lot more stable. And so, short of the internet just stopping, which is a thing that just happens in my house, like no matter what I'm doing, there's just a chance the internet will just fully cut out, but it's not like a constant thing. So, like, it'll be as good as it's gonna get. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not promising a stream next week, but there's a much higher chance now that I'm fairly sure it's not going to just cut out and die. And also, while we're in like a very interesting period for what are the live stream series. Like none of the newer series or series I want to graduate to being live stream series that feel like absolutely desperately necessary. Sakamoto Days we could probably slide back in. But like My Hero, we're in the end game. I would love to talk to people about that. Same with One Piece. It's the chapters have been very discussion worthy in terms of what's going on, how you feeling in the moment. Undead Unluck. I mean, Undead Unluck has always been I want to talk about someone I want to talk about each chapter for an hour with someone type chapters. And Roboco. Roboco. Honestly, I'm not sad that those weren't on the live stream. I don't know how I would have tried to fill time with the fishing chapters. I did like them a lot, but, they were what they were. But I think that is about it. Oh, you can see I didn't do the author comments because the author comments were not out. Actually, they might be out now. I could probably just slip them in here, even though I don't archive these. Yeah, you know what? Let's just slip these in right now. Surely I won't get struck for the mangaka musings. Come on, who would? Why would you do this? Yeah, you told Murakami they went too far. Okay, okay. I mean, fair enough, fair enough. This does feel like a really strong right at the very start going, listen, the views of my protagonist are not my views. He's not even the protagonist. He's just the protagonist's friend. Don't worry about it. He's just a guy. I can't control him. Seeing Matsui Sensei talk about Beyblade in the author comments made me happy since I'm from that generation. I, that is honestly, that was my reaction as well. It was very cool to go like, oh, you're so old and you know about Beyblade. Thank you for the apology, Miyazaki Sensei. Honestly, they were really good chapters in general. Like, it's something that Psyche Kusuo no Sainon did. A couple of other series can do that, but I think of Psyche a lot when I think of chapters where it's like, I didn't like them or like, how do I put it? It's hard to say I didn't like them. It's more like, chapters where as I'm reading them, I'm going, this isn't a 10 out of 10. But then by the end of it, I'm looking back on it and I'm happy that those chapters existed in the series as a whole. Like they elevate the entire series. It's a pretty darn unique situation to be in. And I do think that is like how I felt about this arc. I mean, also, if you look at the rankings for the last 3 chapters, you'll see that the chapter that was the least funny is the one I ranked the highest on a technicality. But genuinely, like the whole fishing arc was really good. I do hope that some kids out there got into fishing because of it. It's really fun and it's so well done. Like truly, it is the kind of thing where like it was very clear by the end of the first chapter. This is something Miyazaki Sensei likes. This is not a like classic mangaka goes out and just learns something or talks to a professional and like gets third-hand information because they want to include this thing in their series. This was such a clear the mangaka has to love this because there's no other way that this whole chapter would be fought, like this whole arc would be fought for so hard because there's no way editorial was fine with this. B, that that he was able to fill it with so much passion, like so much clear interest, and C, that the art could be this damn good. Like it looks so much better than most of me and Roboco. A big part of that just being they're in the outdoors, and usually, like when they're in the outdoors, that's kind of just an excuse to then strip things away, and then we do more like gag stuff. We're not really focusing on the great outdoors. Whereas these chapters have so many shots of just like the river and the background and whatnot, where it just feels laborious. Not like insanely so, but a lot for me and Roboco. It's very impressive within the scope of me and Roboco, and especially within the scope of like this is not for a gag. This is genuinely trying to sell you on the feeling of going into the mountains to fish. I did some powered paragliding. Ooh, what is that? Huh? Like, how do you? Okay, okay. Holy crap! I didn't know this existed. You can also see I am in Ontario, so I could go and do this at some point. Damn, that's crazy. I've never seen one of these before. Like this actually, like as a like vehicle. I think I've seen this design before, but I haven't seen like just the big circle for one person. That's really neat. Oh, that might be really fun actually. Yeah. It's a bit of a pipe dream. There's a lot of other things I should be doing before I do this, but who knows? Ken, you gotta lower that cholesterol. Though to be fair, a lot of that does depend on the person. Like truly, like how do I put it? There's a lot of body stuff that does depend on how do I put it? Like what you put in is what you get out. But for some people, there's definitely like, a balance of like, most people will just burn this off so quickly that it may as well not exist. Whereas for other people, it can be a real like, you absorb any amount of cholesterol and somehow your body goes, no, it's sticking around. We're storing that right into your heart veins. We're not letting go of it. It's staying right here. The strap on my wallet broke in the street, and I saw it fall apart. But right in front of me was a parts shop, and I got it fixed instantly. It was a miracle. Based. Holy crap. I mean, honestly, the biggest big crap, crap here, the biggest crap of all, is that there are just parts shops where you can walk in and get your wallet fixed. Damn. See, that's the kind of thing that, like, even though I live in an area that has a lot of, like, tiny little shops, I don't know if I would even think to do that, in all honesty. That's probably the bigger hurdle. Like, even in my mall, there's a little place that's, like, does, like, handmade leather and, like, they do repairs, they'll sharpen your knives and whatnot. I don't think I would have even thought, like, oh, I should walk in and get this fixed, as opposed to, I guess it's time for me to just put all of this into a bag until I can afford another wallet. Dude, that's also just the strap. Like, yeah. Even then, I probably would have tried to sew it myself and I would have fucked it up. I've concluded that filing down your heels each time you take a bath is best. Makes sitting cross-legged more comfortable. I could see that if you've got, like, the really hard heels. I get those sometimes, like, especially if I'm walking, like, outside barefoot a lot. It definitely hardens them up real fast. That said, I barely ever take a bath. Like, I take showers. Therefore, like, the instances in which I am in a position to properly, like, file down my heels it's pretty low. It's a lot of the time, it's something where I'll be in the shower, and then I'll think, oh, I should probably just stop the water, let it fill up a little, and then, like, soak my heels, then, like, buff them out a bit. But it's so hard. It's so hard to actually decide to do it, as opposed to going, like, I'll do it next time. I'll do it next time. I haven't driven my car for a year, so the battery died and my insurance lapsed. What am I doing? Ooh, I feel you there. I do drive pretty regularly because I'm usually getting groceries and whatnot, and I've been able to bolster my fuel funds with like cashback and with air miles and whatnot. But it's still a bit of a struggle. I feel like this is not the first time the Tosca has mentioned watching the Char's counterattack once a year, right? Like, definitely the author comments have mentioned Char's counterattack multiple times, but I feel like last time was also Tosca. It may have been last year. Let me know if you remember just off the top of your head. I feel like this was Tosca last year as well. Yeah, rest in peace, dear Anemone. I guess I didn't really say this in the redirect itself, because this is still, in fact, the redirect. This might be the longest one I've ever done. Yeah, Dear Anemone is honestly, I can see in my heart, that's the kind of series I probably would have wanted to try and make if I were writing in Jump. Genuinely. I think that's why it stings the most and why I stuck with it the longest. Because it's the kind of thing where I would definitely be like, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to, like, like cheapen the hook. Let's do a serious slow burn. And then it's so hard to make that work. And it's very hard to do it in Jump. It's easier to do it in other places. Or especially, like, if you're going in saying, this is going to be a slow burn, listen, just trust the process. But yeah, you can really tell in Dear Anemone where, like, it kicks into another gear. Where, like, I feel like everything up until they leave the lab is exactly the pace they wanted. And then after that point, you can see, like, things speeding up, speeding up, speeding up. Like, and especially, like, the characterizations shifting. Just in order to get them into a place where it'll feel a little more satisfying. It's rough. It's rough. But anyways, that was the redirect. Thank you guys so much. If you sat through this, I probably should have penned this. I won't. Instead, when I eventually put these into the archives, I'll put this specific redirect into the archive as well, so we can memorialize this one author comment section. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support these videos, for continuing to support the nonsense that I do. I truly, genuinely, really appreciate it. Yeah, I talked about. Did I say anything about Jolien or the JoJo Lands? Let me just say that real quick in case I forgot. The JoJo Lands reaction coming out. It'll probably be in the redirect for next week. Like, hopefully I can record it tonight. But I don't want to delay Jump by saying it'll definitely be in there, because then I'll have to leave it. I have the redirects, like, recorded as of the second I stop this. I have the video itself, like, uploaded on the alt channel. So yeah, if it comes out, it'll be on the server first, then it'll be like in the redirects for next week. So if you want to check up, if you want to see if it's out or not, go check the server. Okay, that's that. Thank you guys once more. Bye for now. Yeah, yeah. Whoop.